Good evening, folks. Ken Hovind here in the crew at Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It is September 23rd, and tonight we'll be in Matthew chapter 24 talking about the future, but we got a couple important distractions before that. Okay, we believe the Bible is true. God made everything in 6 days. Dinosaurs always lived with man. They called them dragons in most cultures, and evolution is the dumbest and most dangerous religious cult in the history of the world. It's actually an illness for you to believe you came from a rock. You need to stop and think. Really, everything fit in a dot? I mean, really. Do they think? And mosquitoes and whales are related. Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Anyway, we believe God ought to get the glory for his creation. We're sick and tired of playing around. Pull off the gloves and let's go get him. The Bible is true. Okay. He said in 6 days he made heaven, earth, the sea, and everything in them. And the fool says there's no God. If you don't believe in God, you're a fool. Okay. We get our video series, 18 hours for more on that. Get our series on what's about to happen in the future. Now, tonight we're going to get into some of this that's in my book and in my video series. And we're going to stretch this out. And I don't know, Matthew 24 might take 12 years to finish. I'm going to kick every dog, chase every rabbit, and hang in there. Not going to promise we'll get one chapter a night like we normally do. You can come to visit our ministry. You're looking for more people to debate me. When's the next one? Sandra, a debate next Thursday night? Next Wednesday night? 30th. Okay, yeah. Going to come cover that. Let's see. Subscribe to our channel and tell the people to come visit Dinosaur Adventureland north of Pensacola, 70 miles. Right there, the coolest place in the world. Visitors from all over, 50 states and all 65 countries now. Let's see, we got Mandy and Stephen from Texas. And did you want to come up and say how your kids like Dinosaur Adventureland, become famous? Just to show them the beard, it'd be worth something. How long does it take to grow something like that anyway? Right here, just sit right here. He'll swing the camera around. Okay, go ahead. Tell them how you like Longview or Dinosaur Adventureland. Right there, camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've come from Rush, Texas, and we came to Dinosaur Adventureland. We've heard about it for several years, and we've always wanted to come. We said this year we're going to make it a priority, and we've came. The kids love it. It's a great place to learn about God's creation and give God the glory for everything He's done for us, and we love it. And we're hoping to spend a few days here, and hopefully we'll be able to come back sometime in the future too.
Did you try the giant new swing?
Yes, we did.
And we tell kids, you'll feel the difference between believing and trusting. A lot of people believe in God. The devil believes in God. But when you have to pick up your feet and jump off that swing, now it's called commitment. Could you feel the difference?
Absolutely. Once you leave the platform, you're committed.
You are committed. It's hilarious. Love that. Okay, thank you so much. How old are you, ma'am?
She's 1.5.
1.5. You speak any English yet?
Yeah, a few words. She said hi.
Took me 2 years to teach my daughter to walk and talk, and then took 20 years to teach her to sit down and shut up. So, you understand? Oh, you do. All right, you guys, anybody else want to share a testimony about Dinosaur Adventureland to encourage people to come? Your wife, you point to her. Who's the man of the house? Oh, okay. Come on, quickly here. Tell them how you like. Oh, you've been here a couple of days. Put you right to work, didn't we? Yep. Amen. No rest for the wicked. Right there. Okay. Right there's the camera. Go ahead. Tell them who you are and what you.
My name's Adam Sosa. I'm from San Antonio. With my wife Linda. We just got here last night and we're having a really good time.
How'd you like the tour?
A lot. Oh, the tour was great.
Did you do the barn tour?
We did some of the barn tour, and we did the
outside tour, and the Science Center tour,
and the Science Center tour.
And the price to get in, was that okay?
Oh, perfect.
Zero. Good to have you, brother.
My kind of place.
You stay as long as you want. Okay, we love it down here. People come from all over the place. Okay. Quickly, before we get into Matthew 24, let's see. DLL's the perfect place to bring your group. Science Center, our museum, it's a blast. Bring a scout group. Let's see. Boy Scout, I'm an Eagle Scout and Order of the Arrow and all that stuff. Bring your science class down here. Learn some real science about Dinosaur Adventureland. Okay. 12,000 square foot Science Center. Soon, Damien, have more than that. And take over these 2 rooms, maybe. We're working on that. Okay. So we can watch the videos on our website, Dinosaur. Let's see. We got 188 baptized. All kinds of tours built by volunteers and donations. 16 lakes and ponds altogether. A 1981 GMC dump truck almost bit the dust. Well, 2nd and 3rd gear are gone. So when you go from 1st to 4th, it's difficult to drive pulling a load of stuff. So we're looking for a diesel dump, either a transmission for it or, I said, Laszlo, what do you think? He said, Brother Hovind, the only thing left good on that truck is the lug nuts. The whole thing. We're looking for a dump truck or a dump trailer for Dinosaur Adventureland. Now, have to counteract some of the bad stuff in the newspaper going around about Kent Hovind. So I'm gonna nail it. I believe get the bull by the horns and wrestle it down, okay? Dad, did you know in some countries you don't find out who your wife is until after you're married? He said, it's like that everywhere, son. True. Okay. Guy contacted me today. I've had 4 or 5 phone calls today. Hovind, what's this about you in the newspaper? I said, well, I'll show you. Okay, I have nothing to hide. Brother Kent, not sure if you remember me. My name is Mark. I visited you down in Adventureland for 3 days. Anyway, I feel like the Lord wanted me to give you a word of encouragement. I'm seeing a lot of social media where you're under severe satanic attack. True, always, okay? I believe this means you're making a difference for Christ, and the enemy wants to put a stop to it. Keep your head up, keep serving the Lord. Those of us who are true Christians can see through the lies and deception of the enemy. Enemy's throwing out, God bless you, my brother. How many remember the movie The Fugitive where the wrong guy was getting away? Finally had to point him out. You're the man. You're the guilty one. They were going after the wrong guy. He did the same thing with Harrison Ford in the movie The Witness. They're chasing after the wrong guy. People get accused and even convicted and crucified that are innocent from time to time, don't they? You know, like Jesus and all the disciples arrested. Okay. So, famed Christian creationist Kent Hovind arrested for domestic assault. Kent Hovind arrested for abuse allegations. Kent Hovind threatens ex-wife Cindy Lincoln with body slam if she doesn't drop lawsuit. Wow, from Mothra, who comments all the time on our channel. Let's see. Body slam audio. Let's see. Kent Hovind's assault and battery charge. Kent Hovind and the body slam. What's going on? Well, the fact that Cindy, my ex-wife, went straight to the atheist channel with her story ought to say something to somebody. So sure enough, yesterday, the Connecticut County Court over here ruled Hovind's guilty and has to pay $100 for be out on bail, and we're putting it on appeal, so none of this will actually happen, and has to serve 30 days in jail. That's what the judge said. Now, the judge has no ears at all, literally, and has hearing aids and all that stuff. And when they played the audio I'm going to play for you, he apparently didn't hear the same thing everybody else heard. I'm going to let you be the judge, let you decide, okay? We're going to appeal all this. So Cindy wants to have a trial by media. She's posting stuff all over the internet on her little channel with a couple of viewers. I'm going to very reluctantly share my side of the story, and then we'll get into Matthew 24, if you don't mind. Many people in the Bible were falsely accused like this, and I was falsely accused, okay? She needs anger management, anger problem. Oh, I like that one, okay. October 25th, a year ago, I was leaving my room to go to work at Dinosaur Adventureland, which is 50 yards away. Cindy came out of the other room where she'd been sleeping 60% of the time for the last 5 months, and she demanded that we talk about the texts that she'd been sending me all night. I want to answer all these texts. I said, okay, so I sat down. I said, now, Cindy, I've been told by my lawyer and several other board members I have to record the conversation if we're going to talk, because I've got 615 recorded conversations with her, screaming, yelling, cursing, not all of them, but many of them, okay? I've kept it all real quiet, but now she's taking me to court. Gloves are off, okay? I think everybody ought to know the truth. A lot of people said she's bipolar. She gets angry when you say that. But I recorded the entire 11-minute tirade where she demanded to have my phone so she could break it in half and flush it down the toilet because I was recording. I said, Cindy, I've been told I have to. You get violent. I have to for my protection. Okay. She came out of bedroom 2 over there in the house where she spent about 60% of the time and immediately asked if I was going to answer all of her texts that she'd been sending all night. I came out of bedroom 1 in the house, sat in the first chair, and said, sure, Cindy, I'll be glad to, but I have to record, okay? After a few minutes of listening to her interrupt and swear, I began going around her to the door to leave, okay, which would be on the far left out of the picture. So I'm standing over by the door holding my phone with one hand. I had just damaged my other arm in an accident. A beam fell on it about a week ago before that, and so it was kind of sore. But and when you listen, I did not body slam her. There's no audio of the rubbing of the phone against anything. It was just, it quickly happened. And she dove toward me. I pushed her to the side. She hit that little shelf on the side right there. And there were some bells on it. You can hear the bells ringing. And then she hit the floor. 9 months later, she charges me with assault. Well, she stayed in the house and lived with me till February. I mean, she's really terrified from, anyway, it's a long story. Okay, so I'm holding the phone over my head so she can't get to it. I'm not using my right hand, which is holding the phone. And so there's no rustling noises, etc. I just want you to listen. The judge couldn't hear it, apparently, so we're going to have to appeal all this. Let's see. Due to her frequent violent outbursts over the previous 2 years of our marriage, I was told by several attorneys, you better record everything. I got 600 recordings, okay? And I tell her, I'm going to record. I have to, okay? Over the last 3 years, She's had scores of violent outbursts, causing many to wonder if she's bipolar, and she will get angry for me saying that. But Cindy, a lot of people think you are, okay? She's a wonderful wife when she was a wonderful wife, and then there's the other Cindy. Let's see. She can be a sweet, loving Cindy one minute and hitting me the next. She's hit me many times. I've never hit her one time, okay? She hit me in anger many times. I've never been physically violent to any woman, okay? Over the last 3 years, let's see, bipolar, where did we go on that? She gets angry, right there. She was the aggressor the entire time. This is audio tape number 142 of the 615 that I have, and if I have to, I'm going to post them all on the internet, if I have to. This is a waste of time, a complete waste of time, but I'm just simply defending myself, okay? At about 1 minute and 30 seconds, she was aggressively pushing me as I tried to leave, and she was trying to grab my phone.
No desire to reconcile whatsoever.
I have every desire to reconcile.
You do not.
I also have a ministry to protect.
That is a lie from the pit of hell.
I don't have a ministry to protect.
Not from me. I'm your number one fan. I'm your number one heart. I have the same heart for this ministry. Turn off the damn recorder.
I'm sorry, I won't do that.
Obviously you don't care.
Well, let's get
You
it.
have no heart.
No, I care very much.
You have no heart.
Let's get another witness in here.
You have no heart. You have no love. You have no Holy Spirit. Yes. Oh, that is a big lie.
I don't understand why you're up there and swallowing your heart.
Because you are ugly. Why are you recording? That's a lie. That is a lie. Get out. Get out. Get out.
This is my house.
Damn phone.
What are you doing, Cindy? Why would you jump on me and grab me? There's no reason to get violent.
Shut up, you asshole! Give me the goddamn phone! Give me the phone! Give me the phone! Give it to me! Give it to me! Then turn it off!
That's her throwing the chairs down. Wow. And I went out the door. And that's what they are going to put me in jail for. Well, we're going to fight it, but it ain't. If it hadn't happened to me, I wouldn't believe it. Anyway, those are the little bells. You can hear them ringing on this shelf right there. So she tried to grab my phone, said she's going to break it, cursing and swearing. And I just simply pushed her off to the side. When she dove for me, she hit that little shelf, hit the floor, and now accused me of body slamming her. Okay. Let's see. She slammed the chairs down in our kitchen there, broke the tile. There's the tile floor. Okay. So I went out the door. And you will hear no volume change in my phone or rubbing against clothing. I never used my right arm and did not body slam her, but the judge couldn't hear that apparently. So Solomon had it right. It's better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. It's better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. It's better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman. Anyway, I will not be mentioning anything publicly, even now, were it not for the fact that she started this. 9 months later, she takes me to court over this. Cindy, What is going on? Anyway, I've got nothing to hide. I can play all the recordings if you're interested. I don't want to bother anybody with all that, but I'd rather be focusing on teaching God's word. This is a distraction. So October 25th was this incident where she attacked me, fell, and hit her back. Okay. 4 months later, she finally left the house. She's been gone since February. And she filed a complaint that I body slammed her in July. The whole thing seems just a little fishy to me, but I think it does to most other folks too. Let's see here. Let me get there. Now we have to spend $7,500 on an appeal.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Freddie. How long you been working at Dinosaur Adventureland?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years. So you've known Cindy the whole time she was here for 4 years, right?
Yep.
Now, after this so-called body slam incident, she talked to you. What did she tell you?
Well, I wouldn't want to repeat the things that she's told me because she's got a nice language. That was one of the reasons why I kind of told her, you know, I didn't think that she can string curse words together in that fashion. But she was pretty upset because I just wouldn't subside with her. All of this thing that's going on between you and her, I said it from the beginning, I don't want to get involved because I personally know that you guys are one before God dies. Mm-hmm. And so I don't take sides. But this nonsense right now that the judge sided with her, with the recording, she knows very well that it's a lie. She knows very well. And it's a shame that she's actually doing this to you because it isn't true. And she knows very well. If one thing she can get from what I've ever told her, because you're well aware, Doc, that the only person on that property who stood with her upon hours and hours, not only me, but me and my wife, counseling her, we would tell her one thing, we would come to an understanding of how she felt, the things that she was saying to us, and we would speak to her, and she would understand something totally different and walk off totally not what we spoke about, and then would send me a text message or, was this really what you were implying? Because she can never, as far as I can understand, Cindy doesn't have the right mind. I'm sorry. It's like two people in one body. As a matter of fact, a few months ago, I'd say not a few months, maybe about a month and a half ago, I bumped into her mother at Walmart. And because she had that order protection against you and the people on the property, I said, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to cause any problems. She's like, no, it's fine. You can talk to me. And I was like, I don't have anything to do with any of that. And she's like, I know. And her own mother said that she deals with a woman who has two personalities. And she told me she was leaving, and I know now that she doesn't even live in her house with her.
Right. The mother said she had to get away, go back to Boston. So John and Tanya drove her up. They used my trailer. I loaned them my trailer. Yeah. Mom said to get away from her daughter. I can understand. Okay. Anyway, so okay, Freddie.
I can tell you this, Doc. Not because I'm a human being. I think all human beings were all under God's authority, and we all know when we do something wrong. And every single word that comes out of my mouth, if anyone who knows me would know that I fear very greatly God. I don't fear man. I fear God above all. And I hope that Cindy and all those people who are listening hear me, that know me, have been on this property for 5 years. If anything that comes out of my mouth, it is the truth, because I fear my Father, not no man. And Cindy very well knows that of all the people there, because I prefer not to speak, but she knows the thing that she has said to me, and she knows that she's lying, especially about her going to the chiropractor. And in all of this, and this is what I told you, that these people here, they got a vendetta for you. The judge went against you and sided with her because of the nonsense of all the rumors that they have around the property, which they call us cults, and they say that we're all under the Hovind spell, or that we're drinking some kind of Kool-Aid or something down at the property. But none of them have the audacity to come down and speak to us, or come down and spend a day and understand what you're doing there and what it is that you're doing for the ministry. I mean, for the kingdom of God. And it's so sad that we have a bad reputation because of gossip, just like this that's going on in the newspaper right now. They don't see you as an innocent man. They're accused. You're guilty. Period. No matter what it is, you're a guilty man, especially in this town. And I advise anyone, come down and check out the place and see who Dr. Hovind. I've been there for almost 5 years. And I've never seen Dr. Hovind lay a hand on somebody. I've never seen him angry. He might get upset, but I've never seen him even raise his voice to anyone.
And
Same with her, the recording that you did. Anyone would do that, which is so sad to have to live with a woman like that. That is definitely split-sided. And and I hope she's listening to this.
Yeah.
Because I'm upset that she decided to go ahead and pursue this nonsense that she is doing.
Well, see, especially in Alabama, if there's any domestic violence at all, the husband's guilty automatically. You know, just that's.
Yeah, and I want to say another thing. For the people who are listening, listen to this. I love Cindy.
I did too.
Side. Cindy and Dr. Hovind to me are one. If you're a Christian and you read scriptures, you'd understand that there's only one person. So that's the reason why I stay away from it. I don't get. But for me, I love Cindy to pieces, which she knows this, and I've always gave her good counsel, even way before she met Dr. Hovind, because she left the property about 3 years ago, and I was the one who convinced her to stay back on the property, and that's when she came back, which she should be a person that says that that's true, that every single thing that I've been saying right now.
Yeah. All right, Freddie, you and your wife got 5 kids, been here for 5 years, and you're a blessing. I'm going to get back on the program. Get back on the program here.
I'm at Walmart. Where am I?
You're at Walmart. Okay. All right. Thank you, brother. All right. Bye-bye. What a blessing Freddie's been, our cook. I called all of our trustees. I said, guys, what do I do? She left in February. I've been after this for months. I said, Lord, what do I do? I've called for lots of advice. Bill Sardi, I've known him for 30 years. We talked a long time. He said, Brother Hovind, get another one. I said, brother. He said, look, you're an important figure. We got to have you in the ministry. Find a wife that just wants to serve the Lord. I said, I do not want to go shopping. I'm not going to go hunting. I want, Lord, you send me one. I'm not looking. And sure enough, lady called from the place down in Central Florida. When I made the announcement, I got a bunch of single guys here. She said, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I've been single praying for a godly man. So I called her pastor. I said, tell me about Sandra. The pastor talked with me for quite a while. He said, Brother Hovind, you will never find a better woman than that. That is the best I've ever seen in my church. She's been here since she was 5 years old. I said, okay, thank you. But anyway, bottom line is we went through, I called Ernie. I spent hours and hours. I had them talk to her for hours and hours. I had Freddie talk to her for an hour. I had all the staff members here that have been here a long time talk to her when she came up to interview. All of them said, Brother Hovind, do not let this one get away. So we got married last week. Sandra, you want to come up and become world famous? Cindy, should have been yours. You blew it. Okay, Sandra, come on up. All the skeptics are going to get mad. Hovind got married again. Yep, sure did. Wonderful. So, how do you like Dinosaur Adventureland, Miss Sandra?
I do.
You do? Okay, have a seat here. All right. You have been saved since you were 5. And how did you hear about our ministry?
Your VHS videos years ago.
Okay. And your kids grew up on them. You got 7 children.
7 children.
And how many grandchildren?
13 and 1 on the way.
13 and 1 on the way. Okay. And I married her for money. She has none. Right?
I married you for years too.
I have none also. Okay. So anyway, if you don't like it, sorry, too bad. We did it. Too late. It's over with. Okay. Thank you so much. Love you.
Love you.
All right. Bye. Okay. So anyway, no money's being spent on this court stuff. The appeal, I have to spend $7,500 out of my profits from my videotapes that people buy. So if you want to help us, please do. When she left, she slammed all the chairs down. So because we had a church wedding, not a state wedding, we did a church annulment months ago on this. And I've kept it real quiet. I think I've been cheerful and studied the Bible with you, but I thought it'd take 20 minutes and say, okay, that's what happened. Okay. Meanwhile, we're going to continue the ministry. November 24th is going to be our take on all the atheists in the world. Come on down, guys. I'll debate all of you same time right here. The Big Bang, Bible Believers, Baptist Big Bang blowout. November 24th. If you can't come by Skype. Don't make that an excuse that it's Thanksgiving. I know it's Thanksgiving. But we'll feed you Thanksgiving dinner. Bring your whole family, all you atheists. Get in on the debate. I'll take you all on at the same time and put you up for the night and feed you dinner. If evolution's so obvious, come prove it. Okay? I'm sick of messing with them. Brother, I get in the fighting mood once in a while when it comes to evolution, and I'm ready to take them all on like Elijah. Prophets of Baal, start dancing around your fire. Okay. Let's see. Spend the night in one of our cabins. Yes, sir?
I'll even go pick them up.
You'll even go pick them up?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay. Our church floor, I told you we had the cedar. We've been making the cross in the middle out of cedar, and it's amazing. And we have a barrel full of cedar shavings that smell really, really wonderful. So we said, hey, rather than throw them away or burn them, if you want to make a donation, any amount, at least to cover the shipping, you can put these in your sock drawer and you'll never have to wash your socks again. Maybe not, but anyway, I love the smell of fresh cut red cedar. So if you want to do that, help us out. Help us to open for free. Join our drdino.com. Let's see, CSC, make any checks to CSC. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait a minute, where am I go to? Slide number 1967. Okay, in Matthew 23, we ended off with Jesus left off talking with the Pharisees and Sadducees with this statement. He said, I'm coming back. He said, I'm done talking to you. You're not going to see me again until I come in the name of the Lord. In Matthew 23:39. So in Matthew 16, Jesus had predicted his own death and resurrection 3 times in the book of Matthew only. He said, now how that he must go into Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and be killed and raised again the 3rd day. Matthew 16. Matthew 17. He said, the Son of Man, that's himself, shall be betrayed into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and the 3rd day he shall be raised again. And they were exceeding sorrowful. Matthew chapter 20. He said, I'm going to town, Jerusalem, and they're going to condemn me to death. They're going to crucify me, and I'm going to rise on the 3rd day. Can you imagine predicting such a thing? So now we start off with Matthew chapter 24, which is going to take probably a long time. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. Hey, Sandra, give me another one of the timelines. I forgot to get the $10 timeline out of the bookstore, you know? Okay. Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said to them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. What a prophecy. This whole building is not only going to be destroyed, every stone's going to be taken apart. Now we know later, 40 years later, 70 AD, when the Roman emperor conquered Jerusalem, the temple caught fire, or they burned it, and the ceiling had gold plating. And when the gold plating melted, it ran down between the bricks. So they ordered their soldiers, take every brick apart and scrape the gold off. Every stone taken apart. Wow, not one stone upon another. Who could prophesy such a thing? Well, he did, and it happened. Okay, so, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, which is just from here to the pond, here to the lake, away from Jerusalem, the temple, I mean, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? 2 simple questions. He said, hey, I'm going to come back. Okay, Lord, when are you going to come? And what's the sign we should watch for? Because Jews require a sign. They want, oh, thank you, ma'am. That one. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. You are a Gentile and a scholar. Okay. We'll be referring to this one in a moment. Okay. So they said, Lord, when are you coming and what's the sign? Now, if you study the Bible and follow our video series, the Bible teaches that about 6,000 years ago, God made everything in 6 days. 4,400 years ago, there was a big flood. We covered that on video number 6 of our series. Where'd the water come from? Where'd it go? What did it do? Etc. Then the coming judgment of God is the topic of this series we're going to do, and what we did before on videotape and the book, What on Earth's About to Happen, for heaven's sake. So the Lord has come to his creation many times. He came down and talked to Adam and Eve. He came down to see the wickedness of men before the flood. Right? He saw the wickedness of man, said, that's it, I'm going to wipe them out. He came down to see and stop the Tower of Babel shortly after the flood, probably 100 years later. He came down and talked with many of his prophets. He came down on Mount Sinai and talked to Moses. So the Lord's been back and forth here many times, because he's not in our dimension. It's probably improper to even think that way. But he came down. He's come here many times. And then he came down in Daniel chapter 3 and joined them in the fiery furnace. So there's the book of in the story of Daniel right there, about 600 years before Christ. And he came back in Daniel chapter 9 to explain to Daniel about the future. Daniel, I want you to write this down. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the future. So Daniel had quite an experience with the Lord, showed him the future. And if you're going to study what's going to happen, you have to start with Daniel and then go to the book of Revelation. Because that's just, you got to do it that way, okay? Then Jesus came down, lived a perfect life. They crucified him, etc. And he came to die for our sins. Okay. So the Lord's going to come again one of these days. Right, here's this little yellow stripe on my chart right down here on my timeline. I think it starts this year. We shall see. I don't know. I'm not setting a date. I just suspect this is it. And here, I'll give you the reasons why. Okay. So he's going to set up a kingdom to rule from here as Lord of the universe, from earth. And if you're faithful, you get to rule with him. It is this coming of the Lord that is addressed in Matthew chapter 24. The small yellow stripe here is greatly expanded up here to show the details. He's going to come down at the end of the tribulation, only as far as the clouds, turn around and go back up with us. Then he comes back about 3 years later, all the way and touches down to the earth. So what's called the second coming of Christ actually has two parts to it. The original part we call the rapture, and then comes down, sets up a kingdom, going to wipe them out. And we'll be with him for that one. Okay. So there are 10 mentions in the Bible, or more than that, about this rapture, the coming in the clouds. And that's all on the chart. You get these for $10 in a little tube. We'll send it to you. So if you want to get all the details and follow along in my book or video series about the coming in the clouds. I got too much stuff on my desk here. Hang on. Okay. So, and then he comes again 1,040 days later. I'll explain why later. Get that number. And we come with him this time. And now he touches down on the Mount of Olives, which splits in half. And a bunch of stuff happens, and the Battle of Armageddon takes place. All right. So, woe, W-O-E, what on earth is about to happen? Woe part 4 is what we're going to be discussing, starting from the book of Matthew. You got to start with Daniel, though. Let's see. So we're in this area right here, the end times. Hovind theory, couldn't prove it to anybody. I think this is it, folks. Starts right now. Okay. Let me get over to the right slide here. Hang on. Right there. Slide number 32, Alt-DV, 32, enter. So the scoffers, the Bible says, are ignorant of the creation. Hang on. Oh, it's trying to figure it out. There. Ignorant of the creation, the flood, and the coming judgment. My book, What on Earth's About to Happen, is all about this topic. So let's see. Part 1, the flood, or creation, the flood, Daniel's visions, and then the 70th week of Daniel. I'll explain that in a minute. 70 weeks. Then we got the 1,000-year kingdom. And I've broken this one up into 5 parts, A, B, C, D, and E. Same thing with 4. That little 7-year period has 4 parts, A, B, C, D, and E. We'll get that in a minute. So God made everything about 6,000 years ago. People lived to be 900. We covered that on video number 1. So where'd the flood water go? Have you flown across the ocean? All the flood water still here. It's gathered in big puddles called oceans. Okay. So the children of Israel were taken captive from Jerusalem over to Babylon because they were wicked and disobeying God. And the king of Babylon had them as slaves for 70 years. Daniel was one of the young men taken captive. They took all the strong, handsome, smart young men away and made them eunuchs. Gave them a high voice. Look that up, okay? No more kids, boy. You're done, all right? So they took them to Babylon, which is a phenomenal city, and they were slaves over there. So one of Daniel's visions that he had is called the vision of the 70 weeks. 70 sevens. I think nearly all Bible scholars I've ever read after believe that each week represents a group of 7 years. So when it says a week, that's a 7-year period. So 70 sevens would be 490 years. So Daniel gets this vision from the angel about the 70 weeks. And it has 5 parts to it. Here it is, Daniel chapter 9. So the angel Gabriel came in verse 21, and he informed me, verse 22, and talked with me and said, "O Daniel, I am come now to give thee skill and understanding. At the beginning of thy supplications, when you first started praying, the commandment came forth, and I came to show thee." Now we find earlier in the book of Daniel, when God sent the messenger down to give him the message, the Satan was fighting with the messenger to prevent the message. There's an angelic war going on too, that we don't get to see. He said, Gabriel said, "Here I am. I'm here to give you a message, Daniel. I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision." Daniel, I want you to understand what's going on here. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people. Who would that be? The Jews. Daniel's one of the Jews. So that he said there's 70 weeks. That would be 77s are determined. It's already been determined what's going to happen to your people and upon thy holy city, Jerusalem. And what's going to happen during these 70 weeks? Let's see. To finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. That's when Jesus gets crowned to be king of the world. So this is going to cover it all. From Daniel's time, 600 BC, up till now. Covers it all. He said, "Know therefore, and understand, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem." Remember, Daniel is in Babylon. His city has been destroyed. He's 500 miles away. He said, as soon as they give a commandment to build Jerusalem, who's going to do that? Oh, it happened. He said, when they give that commandment, start the clock. 70 weeks are determined upon your people. When they give that commandment to let them rebuild their temple, start counting 490 years, 77s. He said, from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto Messiah the Prince, that would be Jesus, shall be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. Well, anybody know how much a score is? Score is 20. Abe Lincoln said 7 years ago, you know. So 60 would be 60. He said it's going to be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. So 69 weeks. The street shall be built again, even the wall in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. But this is the vision Daniel's getting. And I'm sure he's writing this down wondering, okay, Lord, explain this to me. He said, when they give that commandment to rebuild Jerusalem, start your clock. 483 years later, Messiah is going to be cut off. In the Bible, that always means killed. They're going to kill the Messiah. Now, when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on the donkey, he's up on top of the hill looking down, he cried over the city. He said, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, if you had only known, this is your time. That was the time. 483 years were up. They could have chosen him as king. Instead, they rejected him and crucified him. God said, all right, I'm done with you Jews for a while. I'm going to break off this natural olive branch and graft in a wild olive branch. I'll see if the Gentiles can do something for me. And we haven't done very good either. He's going to take us off and put the Jews back in for 1 more week. 7 years. Hovind theory starts this fall. We'll see. He shall confirm. Who's the he? Well, we'll see in a minute. This is the Antichrist, or one of his soldiers. He shall confirm the covenant. He's going to make an agreement for 1 week. There's going to be a 7-year treaty. Has anybody seen the news in the last few days about the Pope and the 7-year treaty they're working on? Keep an eye, folks. It's coming. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, well, what would the middle of a 7-year period be? 3.5 years. In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. Now, wait a minute. The Jews can't do a sacrifice right now. They don't have a temple. There's a great big Muslim mosque on that spot, right? And the Muslims would get very upset if they tore it down, right? We get that in my book in great detail what's going to happen here. It's so cool. Okay. He said in the middle of the week, he's going to cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. So if he's going to stop the sacrifice in the middle of the week, that means during that first 3.5 years, they're going to have to build the temple. They got everything ready. When I was over there, 18, 20 years ago, they showed me a lot of stuff. They're already ready to build that temple. They got stuff waiting. As soon as they get the okay, they can probably have that thing up in a couple months. Everything's ready. One guy stopped at my place in Pensacola. I gave him the tour. I said, brother, what do you do for a living? He said, I play the harp in the Philharmonic Orchestra. I'm a harpist. He said, I also work with Israel. I'm helping them build olive wood harps for their choir when they get the temple built. I said, tell me, what's going on with the temple? He said, Brother Hovind, you won't believe it. They've got everything ready. They got the harps ready, the musicians ready, the garments are ready. They just got to get a chunk of property to build it on. We cover that in my book. That property's sitting totally empty, and the Muslims don't even know it. Okay, let's see. He shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, for the overspreading, let's see right here. The prince that shall come shall confirm a covenant for 1 week. In the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. So they must be doing sacrifices, and he's going to make them stop in the middle of the week. So on my chart, which you can get, we have this little yellow line greatly expanded to be this 7-year period with all the details and a bunch of Bible verses on there about it. So Daniel was shown this vision way back here, 600 BC, about the next 2,600 years for the children of Israel. Now, when you look at a mountain range, you're from Tennessee, brother. Sometimes you get up there and it looks like 2 mountain peaks are right next to each other. But when you get beside them, you see, man, there's a big gap in between them, right? Sometimes looking, one direction looks like it's A, B, C, and then you get beside him and realize, oh no, there's a big gap. Well, there's a great big gap between Jesus being crucified and this last 70th week. There's a 2,000-year gap called the church age, or the age of the Gentiles, and we are in it. Okay, right there, 2,000-year gap, just about done, I think. We'll see. Okay. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's us. I'm Norwegian. Anybody know what nationality you are? I'm not Jewish, so we're Gentiles. Okay. In Luke 19, and when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, this is the day you're going to make a choice, guys. And the king said, hey, you want Jesus or you want me to release this criminal? Who should I release to you? They said, give us Barabbas. Crucify this man. Okay. You made your choice, guys. Anyway, let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in him. He said, I go to prepare a place for you. I'm going, and I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Now, in Acts chapter 1, they said, Lord, are you going to restore the kingdom now? He'd been crucified, 3 days in the grave, rose from the dead, spent 40 days with them. They're standing on the mountain, about to go back to heaven. And they said, Lord, are you finally going to restore the kingdom? They've been following Jesus for maybe a couple years. We don't know for sure how long. And he said unto them, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his power, in his own power. But ye shall receive power. After that, the Holy Ghost is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses. Okay? And then, when he spoke these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Okay? And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you've seen him go into heaven. Well, what does that mean? Guys, he went up in a cloud. He's coming back in a cloud. You saw him go up in a cloud. He's coming back in a cloud. That's what it means, okay? So this little yellow stripe greatly expanded. So here's the series of events here. Let's see. 5-year, right here. So I took, no, I don't want that one. Right here, the Great White Throne. Hang on. What should we do? I've been busy today, folks. I'm sorry. There we go. I got this 70th week broken up into 5 different parts. And it really ties back into Matthew 24 in just a second. Now, there's a principle in the Bible. If there's an important doctrine in the Bible, there'll always be at least 2 or 3 verses about it. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. If somebody's got one verse they're building a whole doctrine on, I just slow down, calm down. There ought to be more than one about that particular topic. Or you might be going off track. Anyway. In Deuteronomy, God had said, at the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. Matthew 18, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word should be established. There should be 2 or 3 verses or passages about a topic before you decide what the Bible teaches on that. So in Matthew 24, he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and the disciples came and said, Lord, tell us, when shall these things be? Simple question. What shall be the sign? Remember, Jews require a sign. Gentiles seek after wisdom. Jews require us. What's the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Well, when you read the book of Mark, chapter 13, it's called the parallel passage. You see the same thing. Tell us, when shall these things be, and what sign? What shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? Luke 21, same thing. So while I was in prison studying this till my brain hurt, I said, well, wait a minute. Luke 21, when shall all these things be, and what shall be the sign? So, being a mathematician and liking graphs and charts, and I'm a vision, I said, let's line them up side by side. Lord, when are you coming? What's the sign? When are you coming? What's the sign? When are you coming? What's the sign? Fair enough? Well, in Matthew, for the next 23 verses, he tells about the time of great tribulation. In Mark, for the next 19 verses, he says there's going to be a bad time of tribulation. In Luke, for the next 17 verses, he said, man, it's going to be a bad time of tribulation. Then at the end of his diatribe, the 20 verses, at the end where he says, right down here, and here, and here, at the end of each passage, they're all the same. He said at the end, guys, he said in Matthew, not 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. Lord, when are you coming? After the tribulation. What's the sign? The moon won't give her light. The moon will. Same thing in Mark chapter 13, verse 24. In those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Same thing in Luke. So the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood. Okay, let's see. It couldn't be more clear. After the tribulation shall the sun be darkened and the moon shall not give her light. Then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. Oh, hold it. Heard about that before? How did he leave? In a cloud. So when's the rapture, Brother Hovind? You know, for 40 years of my Christian life, I thought the rapture was going to happen any minute. Pre-trib rapture. I believed it. That's what Schofield said. That's what Jack Hyles said. And I appreciate those guys. But it's not true. After the tribulation, the sun and the moon, he's going to come in the clouds and send his angels, and they gather together his elect. In Mark 13, after the tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. And then shall he send his angels and gather together his elect. So, Joel chapter 2, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. I was just wrestling, but it was so ideal. I mean, I don't like I went to prison, but it was ideal. I had plenty of time to study. They just called me when the lunch is ready, you know. I read 1,800 books. Had Bible study 4 times a day with the guys. I led 800 men to the Lord. I wrote 32 or 3 books while I was in prison, including this one on end time. I said, I'm going to take advantage of this time. A lot of guys are sitting there watching football the whole time. You know, I said, man, forget that. I couldn't name 2 pro teams. Dallas Cowboys still have a team? Yep. Okay, there's one. I don't care about the rest. Okay, I don't care about them either. So he said, the Lord's coming before the great and terrible day of the Lord. I said, now hold it. Have I missed something? Is the day of the Lord different than the rapture? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In Acts 2, the sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and notable day of the Lord. So Jesus said, I'm coming after the tribulation when the sun and the moon go dark, and the sun and the moon go dark before the day of the Lord. Bingo. It all started lining up. You know, A, B, C, click, click, click. I got it. Acts chapter. Then I found out the church has always taught this for 2,000 years. It wasn't until 1830 when a 15-year-old Scottish girl had a fever and had visions of the Lord coming back before the tribulation. She started the whole thing. The pre-trib rapture started in 1830 with a sick 15-year-old Scottish girl. And a couple of preachers from London went up there and interviewed her and said, oh, wow, new doctrine. And they started spreading it around, and the church has swallowed it. Starting from 1830. I cover all that in my book. Anyway, so a cloud received him out of their sight, and he's going to come back in like manner. So there's a time of tribulation, 7 years. We're here for the whole thing. Then the sun and the moon go dark, and then the day of the Lord starts. So the tribulation time, I broke up into 5 parts, A, B, C, D, and E. That's part 4 on my chart here. The yellow stripe right there. This is and all the verses about it. All the verses I could find about the sun and the moon going dark are right here, about the catching up to the clouds, about the judgment seat of Christ, about the day of the Lord. Worth $10 to get the chart, I think. I don't know what it costs us to print them. We're not trying to make money on that, but let's see. So part 4, the 70th week of Daniel. This last 7-year period. There are several theories about this, and everybody thinks they've got it right, okay? That little yellow stripe at the bottom is greatly expanded to show the 5 parts to the 70th week of Daniel. 70 weeks are determined on thy people to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up the vision, and to anoint the most holy. Jesus is going to be the king of the world. Not yet. It's not here yet, but it's coming. Daniel 9, we went over that before. I said it's going to be 69 weeks. And sure enough, from the time they gave the command, Ezra, go back and rebuild the temple. Nehemiah, you go back and rebuild the wall. And you can start your clock. 483 years later, to the day, Jesus rode into town on the donkey and said, hey guys, you want me to be your king? And the people are shouting and waving and all this kind of stuff. And then 3 days later, they crucify him. From the command to rebuild Jerusalem, that's given in 2 Chronicles 36, if you want to read it, Ezra chapter 1, Nehemiah chapter 2. Jesus was crucified 483 years later. So, 1 week left. The first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, he gave the command. The Lord stirred up Cyrus, a wicked pagan king, and said, let these Jews go build their temple. So a pagan king, God touched his heart. Cyrus, king of Persia, said, the Lord God of heaven hath given me, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. How that happened, I don't know. Maybe in the middle of the night, an angel came and said, hey, Cyrus, let these people go build a temple. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to break your kneecap. Oh, okay, got it. Okay. That's why these tyrants, it's the only language they speak, right? The Lord be with him and let him go up. In Ezra, he said, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, and he charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem. He said, if you want to go, you go with anybody who wants to. Can you imagine releasing all your free slave labor? That's what he did. Nehemiah, the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, Nehemiah was serving him his wine. He was his butler. That's his job. And the king said, why are you sad, Nehemiah? He said, because the city, my father's house, the city of my fathers and grandfathers, lieth waste. The gates are consumed with fire. The king said, well, what do you want? He said, I'd like to go home and build the wall. He said, all right. How much money you need? This is the king talking to his servant. Sent him with an army of people to protect him. Unreal. You can read Ezra and Nehemiah. So after 62 weeks, Messiah was cut off. Jesus right there crucified. Jesus said, if you had only known, this is the day, guys, and they blew it. So Daniel 9, let's see about the covenant. We'll skip up right here. Now, everybody seems to be waiting for Jesus, for their Messiah to come back. The Jews are waiting for the Messiah. They pray at the Wailing Wall. You know why they don't nod their head all the time while they're praying? They're dodging rocks from the Arabs who are throwing at them. But okay. The Muslims are waiting for the 12th Imam to come solve the world's problems. Someday Islam will dominate the world. Okay, let's see. Coming of the Mahdi. That's the guy going to save the world in their religion. The coming of the Mahdi. He's going to kill everybody who's non-Muslim, cut off their head. The 12th Imam. There's lots of books in my library about that. One man to unite them all. The Hindus are waiting for Krishna to come solve the world problems. The Buddhists are waiting for Buddha. He's going to come solve the world problems. Oh, Buddha, come get us. The Theosophists are waiting for Lord Miatra to come back and solve. Yep, please come back, solve the world problems. Everybody's got a solution for it. The Satanists are waiting for Lucifer to come solve the problem. The communists are looking for the supreme leader. Everybody knows the world's got problems. Who's going to fix them? They're all waiting. Where's the supreme leader to fix all this? Jesus said, I'm going to prepare a place and I'm going to come again. And while they looked up to heaven, he received him out of the cloud. He said, he's coming back in the cloud. The Christians are waiting for Jesus Christ to come back and solve the world problems. So you got to decide what side you want to be on. Let's see. Let me get up to back to Matthew chapter. Well, we'll get in Matthew 24. We only cover 2 verses tonight, but that's long enough. Matthew 24 will be Sunday morning. We'll get to the next couple verses. If you want to get my book or chart or anything like that, call the office, 855-BIG-DINO, and pray for our situation with the court and all that. If you want to help support our appeal, we're not using ministry money for that. Ernie keeps some people buy my videotapes. That money separate from mine, and that's going to drain the account. So, oh well. Easy come, easy go. It's only half true. It's easy go. Any questions from here? Thank you for the gift. Appreciate that. Okay, question. What's your thoughts on the discovery of the quarry in Jerusalem where they believe the stones from the previous temples come from, the third temple? Richard Reeves up in Tennessee has done more on that research on that than anybody I know. Now, I differ with him theologically on several major points, but he's done fabulous research on that topic. It's type in David Reeves, R-I-V-E-S. It's his son. I think that's their website. Anybody know the name of their website? David Reeves. Anyway, he'll come up. But he would know all that stuff. He's been over there excavating, and they found all kinds of cool stuff. They're ready to build that temple. It's not even where the mosque is. There's 15 acres right next to the mosque, totally empty. I suspect the Jews are going to say, hey, or the Muslims are going to say, look, you Jews, you're our neighbors. We want to get along. You give us, $400 trillion and we'll let you have this 15 acres. It'll be something like that. Be the most expensive property ever sold. Hovind theory. Okay? Let's see. Brother, have you met Warren B. Smith? He is warning the church of end times deception and has written a book, The Titanic and Today's Church. I've not met him, don't know about him. Thank you for telling me. I'll keep an eye out for that. Okay, any others?
That's it.
That's it. Any questions from here? Sorry for going so long and sorry for the personal stuff. I just thought since it's in the news, somebody's going to ask. I'd be glad to defend myself and answer any questions. I did not do anything wrong. I think I was righteous in the whole thing. And we'll see. Let God sort it out. But half this book is written from prison by people who were innocent. like Daniel and John, Revelation. He was in prison. Okay, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night, Q&A. If you got questions and disagree with something, send them in. We'll take them tomorrow night. That's it. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye.